So unlike the rest of the Destroy Trump media, we on this program, we have been covering these scandals because you, the American people, you deserve answers. Now, right now, in this country, sadly, there's a two-tier justice system, and the law is not equally applied to everyone. So tonight, the country needs to make a choice. Do we actually ignore crimes, evidence of wrongdoing, or do we pursue the truth, investigate all of these things fully? Now, the Destroy Trump media, some of the Washington political elite, they are apoplectic about the president criticizing his attorney general, Jeff Sessions, who's a good man, by the way. Here's what the president said earlier today at the White House.
I am disappointed in the attorney general. He should not have recused himself almost immediately after he took office. And if he was going to recuse himself, he should have told me prior to taking office, and I would have quite simply picked somebody else. So I think that's a bad thing, not for the president, but for the presidency. I think it's unfair to the presidency, and that's the way I feel.
Now, I agree with the president on recusal, and the AG, though, has been doing a very good job implementing the president's agenda, like on the border. There are some things I would like to see our FBI, our Justice Department looking into, stories that you won't see in the establishment media. We start with the arrest, have you heard about this, earlier today, of Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz's IT staffer who was trying to flee this country. The Daily Caller reported earlier this week the FBI found smashed hard drives, sound familiar, at his home. The staffer has now been charged with bank fraud for allegedly double billing House Democrats for computer equipment, and there is also concern about possible email hacking. And now, after months of stonewalling and threatening U.S. Capitol Police, well, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, well, now apparently is finally willing to cooperate with investigators. Let's see, smash hard drives, not working with federal authorities. What are the Democrats trying to hide here? What does Debbie Wasserman Schultz want you, the American people, not to know here? When it comes to smash hard drives, not working with authorities, it's hard not to notice a very similar pattern with a lot of Democrats regarding these matters. Remember Hillary Clinton? Okay, I don't know anybody in the Trump campaign or the Trump administration that deleted 33,000 emails, and just to make sure they used acid wash or bleach bit to get rid of them. Or her aides smashing mobile devices with a hammer into smithereens. And then Clinton's lawyer giving back the FBI BlackBerries, but they took out the SIM cards, rendering them meaningless. And, of course, we know Hillary mishandled secret, top secret, special access program information, classified information, by having a private email server, which was hacked by up to 5 foreign intelligence agencies. Now, if anyone besides Hillary Clinton or Debbie Wasserman Schultz, if you did any of that, in the case of Hillary, you would be in jail tonight begging me to bring you a cake with a file. These are prosecutable crimes. But it's just the beginning of what needs to be done by the FBI and by the Justice Department when it comes to the Clintons. If we're not going to have a two-tier justice system, there is real Russia collusion, a real scandal, Uranium 1. Are they going to investigate this at the Justice Department, at the FBI? Remember Clinton serving Secretary of State? She signed off 20% of America's uranium to Vladimir Putin and the Russians. That's the foundational material to nuclear weapons. All while people ended up, giving donations of up to $145 million or more to the Clinton Foundation. And then top it all off, during the same time, Bill Clinton doubled his speaking fees in Moscow. That sounds an awful lot like bribery, quid pro quo, pay to play. Now, the next thing. Is the issue of possible Ukrainian election collusion ever going to be investigated? This story broke in Politico in January. The scandal involves a one-time DNC operative, Ukrainian government officials. Wow, that sounds like collusion. Working during the campaign. Well, disseminating false information. They wanted to defeat and hurt Donald Trump. Now this DNC operative, finally 6 months later, she denies any wrongdoing. Senator Chuck Grassley, he's not buying it, of Iowa. He's asking questions. He's writing a letter to the Department of Justice about a possible Foreign Agents Registration Act violation. Oh, you mean this works in reverse? It's not just Republicans going after the Trump administration? We're going to have equal justice under the law? And on top of that, there's also former Obama Attorney General Loretta Lynch potentially obstructing justice. Former FBI Director James Comey recently testified that Lynch pressured him to call the investigation into Hillary Clinton's email server a matter instead of what it really was, an investigation. Then there's Lynch's 40-minute tarmac meeting with Bill Clinton just days before Comey's announcement about Clinton. Now, there's some good news on this issue. We now finally have a group of Republican lawmakers that do believe in equal justice under the law. Jim Jordan and others are calling for Lynch to be investigated. And, of course, we have the unprecedented and I think the greatest danger to the country. What are deep state leaks? And according to a recent report, 125 deep state leaks likely, of course, illegal in just 126 days. And the only crime we know committed in this whole Russia-Trump phony collusion story has been the unmasking and the leaking of Lieutenant General Michael Flynn's name to the Washington Post. That is a violation of the Espionage Act, and people can be held accountable and put in jail. And speaking of leaks, well, we know James Comey gave his government memos to a friend to be leaked to the New York Times in the hopes that it would lead to the appointment of a special counsel, and Comey may have also improperly removed government property from the FBI. And then the political witch hunt that is led by Comey's buddy, special counsel Robert Mueller. Mueller has massive conflicts of interest. He's best friends with Comey, a key witness. Oh, that might even be against the law. We'll find out. Mueller, just one day before being named special counsel, guess what? He interviewed with President Trump for the FBI job. That's beyond outrageous. And, of course, we can't forget all the members of Mueller's team, the people he's bringing on, have donated thousands of dollars to the Democrats. Oh, and we can't forget even hiring Hillary Clinton's attorney on the Clinton Foundation. And finally, the fake news dossier, the opposition research firm, Fusion GPS, which has connections to Democrats. According to all these reports, the dossier originally commissioned by a Republican, but eventually a Clinton ally ended up paying for that. Christopher Steele, former British spy, put together the fake news hit piece that cites Russian government sources and sources that are tied to the Russian government. Should be shocking, right? But it didn't stop Democrats from repeating the false information found in the dossier. Now, there is some progress on this story, too. We're pressing every day so we have equal justice under the law. Fox News has now learned that the co-founder of Fusion GPS is cooperating with the Senate Judiciary Committee. Finally, a good thing. But you, the American people, deserve complete, thorough investigations into all these scandals. But we can't take our eye off the ball. Health care, repeal and replace, building the wall, getting the economy going, getting people off of food stamps, back in the labor force, out of poverty. That has to happen simultaneously. If Congress would stop taking vacations, well, maybe they can get these things done.